No, what is he? Which is great. That's They don't know what river we're in. They know we're in the ocean. Oh, yeah, you are. So, you know, you can have that.
Yeah,
O'clock. We'll get the Roanoke City Council regular meeting going. Again, time 7 o'clock. Calling this meeting to order. Roanoke City Council regular meeting. Start with roll call. Wes?
Here.
Doug?
Here.
Denise? Here. Chip?
Here.
If we could all bow our heads and begin in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, for all that we have and all that you are. Thank you for the opportunity to come together to talk through the issues of the city. May we remember your sovereignty. You are always in control. May thy will be done, here and everywhere, now and always. May the peace of Jesus fall over us as we discuss our opinions and differences for the city of Roanoke tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. If I could ask all who can stand to stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to say hello to Greg Goulart. We're going to introduce Greg and appoint him to the council a little later. It's his first council meeting. He'll be up here in just a minute. I think I'll stand so that everybody can see me. In the absence of fact, perception becomes reality. You've probably heard that before. When we as human beings don't have all the information, we fill in the blanks. And sometimes we fill it in with some pretty good life experience or shared experiences, maybe some knowledge that we've read. It's our basic nature, and it's where the word probably comes from. No harm in that. It's how we are, and there's a lot of grace there. When things like that go too far, they get a little jagged and they get dangerous. So tonight, I have 3 quick items in the mayor's comments that I want to bring some fact. What I'm about to say is undisputed. These are facts. These happened, they're verifiable, and I want to share them with you in an effort that you can measure against what has been out there all weekend and balance what might be said in here tonight. It's informational, but the bottom line is these are facts that not everybody has. I'll start with my family has lived on Mesa for 2 years. That road at Mesa has been a 20-plus year controversial debate because the city didn't own the road, and the city is bound by rules. If you don't own the road, you can't fix the road. I think a lot of you already know this. Last summer, the Mayor Pro Tem, Doug Williams, and this council, not Greg, but Christine was in this spot, the council embarked on a road to fix Mesa to a point where the city could take it over. The problem is, my family and I had moved to Mesa long before I was elected. Because we're bound by rules, I can't be a part of something that benefits me. So I didn't. I was never a part of any legal discussion, any development discussion, any formulation of funding discussion. The Mayor Pro Tem will attest. He led this entire meeting structure. Doug, is anything that I'm saying false? Was I a part of any meeting that you led? No. When Mesa came up in city council meetings, I would recuse myself. What that means is I would pass the gavel to Doug and I would leave. Sometimes I sat where you're sitting, sometimes I left the room. I did participate in the resident funding of Mesa because I'm a resident, but I never was involved in any decision around the Buffalo Mesa project, the legal discussions of it, or any part of it until that project was done, until the last machine rolled off Mesa, and then I stepped back in my role as mayor. I'm saying this because when you print something to the public that is false, and you present it as truth with the intent to damage another person, that is called libel, and it is a serious issue with serious consequences. That is truth. It is verifiable. If you would like to get an open records request and look at the minutes of the city council meetings where I removed myself, you're welcome to it. You can also talk to these council members who were involved. I had nothing to do with the development of that plan. Secondly, this council makes the decisions in this city and every city. The mayor doesn't make changes or rules. The city secretary doesn't make changes or rules. Neither does the police chief or the director of public works. No one person makes rules in a city. It has to come to the council, and the council considers it and approves it. We are bound by procedures and regulations. We cannot falter. We have to do things certain ways. That's how they work. It's the law of municipality. So when you read that the mayor has done something, that's not the case. No one person decides this. It is a committee of this council that makes the rules. And if they change the rules, they change them. On top of that, this council is bound by a bunch of regulations and procedures. They can't wake up one day and say, we want to change coffees. I know that's a simple way of saying it, but this council is bound by rules and regulations You can't change something if it's going to adversely impact some of your residents, or one. Can't change it if it's going to be at odds with the county or the state. Can't change rules or things if it's going to affect the funding that you might be eligible for. There are many, many things that this council has to consider, and oftentimes it becomes a legal question. But what I'm trying to say is, when this council makes the rules, there are rules that they have to follow. It isn't as simple as just change it. I know we all remember a time when it might have been that simple. Those days are gone. Which leads me to the last point, a factual timeline of recent events. Late last year, the City Council worked through updating and bringing the employee handbook up to 2024 standards. Council meetings through the fall and just past the first of the year had different sections where things were changed and standards were brought up to today's date. There was a specific passage, unlawful harassment, that was approved in December 10th, City Council meeting. Then there was another set of edits in January, but this one paragraph was not changed. It was already approved in December. 6 weeks later, President Trump was inaugurated and came out on fire. He had executive orders like we've never seen. And that was the week that we printed the book, the employee handbook. A few days later, we handed that out to the employees. On February 5th, we had a staff meeting where concerns and questions and details, some corrections could be suggested, and we talked through concerns. So 3 weeks later, it was brought forth that there was an issue. Now, an issue is different than a concern. So an issue demands action. I might be lost here. That's okay. So when I have an issue, what do? I want to solve it. So I dove in, I did my research, and then I went to the city attorney. The city attorney, The city attorney called in another attorney, a specialist in the language that I was asking questions about. I called this a legal team. That's just what I called it. I had lawyers plural. I had one lawyer that brought in this lawyer. I called it a team. We can argue semantics, but that's just what I called it. Through the course of this first meeting, my question was probably as simple as the questions many of you asked. Can I move this language? Can I get it out of here? No. Okay, why not? I thought we just had executive orders. I got an education on executive orders. Executive orders are not magic wands. Executive orders go straight from the president to federally funded buildings, federally funded entities. And those changes are made immediately. You can look and see where those changes have been made. But state and local governments, schools, private enterprise, none of that language has changed, and it's probably going to be close to 2 years before that language can be changed, which blew my mind. Wait a minute, why? Well, challenges, lawsuits, time, the legal process, whatever it is. Okay, so I can't remove this language. No, and furthermore, if you remove this language, you better check with your grant status, because grant discrimination language is sometimes dictated to get the money to the city. Oh, okay. So what are my options? Went through the options, which brought us into the weekend. Now it's Saturday night, and I'm determined to try to fix this. So I dive in, and I'm trying to work. I know I can't remove this language. It's advised by the lawyers that I can't remove it. Can I replace it? Can I change it? Get some sleep. On Sunday, I come in. I come up with another outline, very succinct, and I reach out to the lawyer. On Sunday, Mayor Pro Tem, when we were together yesterday and I showed you the final communication that I shared with the attorney, what day did it say?
It said Sunday, the 9th.
Sunday, March, thank you. Sunday, yes. We worked on Sunday together, and I'm happy to say, very happy to say, that breakthrough ended up in a resolution to this whole issue. It is resolved as I stand here right now.
And I'm grateful for that. But these facts are undisputed, regardless of what you read, regardless of what is printed. And this is the hard part. I understand how frustrating it is to feel emotion on what you've heard. But I urge everyone in this room, as much as you can, cities, corporations, schools, doctors, right? Lawyers, psychiatrists, they can't divulge details. You cannot speak about personnel issues. So it's hard. Of course, I want to say, wait a minute, no, that's not right. But I'm bound. This council and the city, even the workers of the city are bound by regulation and procedure in what we can say, what we can't, what we can do, when we can change it, why we can change it, how we can change it. We are bound by rules that all of us in our civilian lives and our regular lives are not. It's not as simple as, Steve, just get it out of there. It's not. I love this city. And I love everybody in here, even the people that don't love me back. That'll never change. So tonight, we're about to move into the public speaking portion of the evening. And if you thought that the rules and regulations that I just went through were tough, hang on. The Open Meetings Act dictates how this public speaking session goes. If you have not filled out a public speaking form, they're over there. If you would like to speak tonight, I urge you to get a form, because without a form on file, you cannot speak. I'll begin. The City Council invites the public to address the council on any matter except public hearings. Comments related to public hearings will be heard when the specific hearing begins. This is not a hearing. We're okay. In accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, the council is not permitted to act on or discuss any item not listed on the agenda. It's hard to put an item on the agenda when people are stepping up and speaking from the hip. What does that mean? That means we cannot answer your questions. We cannot discuss or debate what you're bringing to us. Council, I want to make sure we're crystal clear on this. I'll continue, but the council can ask a question for clarification or state a statement of fact. But there's no discussion. It's not a back and forth. It's not an interview. The council may make a statement of fact regarding the item, make a recitation of existing policy, or propose the item be placed on a future agenda in accordance with council procedures. That's what we can do. I'm sure we'd love to answer questions. We're bound. We're bound by the rules and regulations. There is a 3-minute time limit for each speaker, unless the speaker requires the assistance of a translator, in which case the speaker is limited to 6 minutes, in accordance with applicable law. Prior to the meeting, persons wishing to address the City Council must complete a speaker form and present it to the City Secretary. When called upon, state his or her name and street address for the record. And if speaking for an organization or other group, please identify the group you are representing. All remarks are to be addressed to the City Council as a whole and not to an individual member. The presiding officer shall determine whether or in what manner any response will be provided. So, I'm in a bit of a quandary. There is a later agenda item that a gentleman would like to speak about, and I think I'd like to start with him, if that's all right. So, Sean Ford, please come forward. The agenda item that he is addressing is a proposed increase of the inspection fee for the city, and it is later in the agenda. Please, Sean.
Mayor, Council, Sean Ford, 5558 FM 1571, Lone Oak. I'm here to speak to you about item number 15, the inspection fee increase. I'm a local business owner. I own and operate a consulting company, 3F Development Consulting and Inspections. We specialize in a variety of development-related services. one of which is municipal plan review and inspections. I see that you have this item is going to be a fee increase due to an inspector increasing their rates. I believe that my firm, being local, I believe we have a superior level of qualifications and have the ability to provide you a higher level of service, and I believe that we can do so at a equal or lesser rate than what you currently have, so that you wouldn't have to have any inspection fee increase. So I'm hoping to have the opportunity to speak with you in more detail about it and possibly provide you with a proposal. So,
Thank you. Are there any other speaking forms? Okay. We have one speaking form. Ms. Susie Cooper, please come on up.
I want to talk about this whole process here. Okay, I just got your email regarding what you have to call this legally, but what I call this, and I believe it was wrong for termination on March 7th for not signing an employee handbook referring to gender identity as a protected class. I did speak with you about this privately. I expressed concerns about this even during that meeting, an employee meeting that we had. I also talked to the Mayor Pro Tem Doug about this, and I spoke to Corey about this, that I did not feel right about signing that employee handbook because I believe that God decides our gender before we ever draw a breath of air. I don't feel like we wake up that day and decide what gender we want to be. I don't believe that. I feel that by signing that book, that I would go against what I believe. So at that time, maybe we should have taken a step back with council, or whoever should have taken a step back from that and took a look at this and started a process of finding a different wording for this then. But instead, I was terminated for not signing that book. On Sunday, you sent me a email about this issue, saying that you have found a solution for this. I didn't read that until last night, when I got another email, a follow-up email from you, saying that I have until 1 o'clock today to respond to that. I did respond to that, and you know, for reinstatement, I accepted that on the terms that this handbook could be reworded, not to include gender identity as a protected class. So that's my comment on that, so that we've got clarity on this. My thoughts on this moving forward is that maybe someone in council will retaliate or argue for making this decision and not to sign this handbook. So moving forward, I just want that to be clear that you know, if that's going to be an issue, then we can take care of that tonight and hopefully move on with it. So, and that's what I have. So, do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for clarity or statements of fact? I have one statement of fact. I am very glad that we came to a resolution.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speaker forums this evening? Well then we'll move on to the consent agenda, item 6. All consent agenda items are considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. All items refer to the month of February.
You gonna read them?
I can.
Okay.
A, approval of the minutes for the regular meeting February 11th and the special call meeting on February 25th. B, consider an act regarding general fund financials. C, consider an act regarding general fund profit and loss budget versus actual. D, consider an act regarding general fund unpaid invoices. E, consider an act regarding public works financials. F, consider an act regarding public works profit and loss budget versus actual. G, consider an act regarding public works unpaid invoices. And H, consider an act regarding municipal court financials.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda item. A second.
Motion by Wes, seconded by Doug. All in favor? That passes. Moves us to item 7, department and committee reports. Leading with Public Works, Mr. Corey Miller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll keep this short. We had a boil water notice earlier in the month, as everybody knows. It was due to a valve that failed at the water yard. Literally a spacer type washer, the size of an eraser on a pencil, put us out of water. And that is ridiculous, just to be honest. Therefore, I'm looking at the SRA grant program to maybe help try to get some funding to replace all of that. And try to at least get some help, some assistance. I looked into their website on that, and they've changed everything. Now you make it portable and this sort of thing, which is okay, but I gotta get my quotes and get all my stuff in order, and that's what we're waiting on, and hopefully, we can kind of get that resolved pretty quick.
What's the funding that they'll do now? Is it 20?
It said up to 20,000,
Okay.
or depending on the construction project and the severity of it. So, I expect 20 maybe, but they may go more than that if it's,
They have a lot of money to give away.
yeah, it just depends on how that goes during
Yeah.
the But, other than that, y'all have any questions on the work? I know y'all didn't get a long time to look at it,
Nope.
Thank you, Corey.
appreciate it.
Next up, economic development with Wes Owen.
We don't have a meeting yet. It's tomorrow. It's normally Wednesdays, but first Wednesday of the month, but we went to Austin last week, so we didn't get to have a meeting. Economic development group, we $150,000 in the bank, $140-something thousand in the bank. Actually, no, it's not, because we wrote the check to the city. So we're probably $125,000. We have invited, there's a couple of events that are going to take place here in Lone Oak, probably between now and summertime. The Lake Tawakoni Regional Chamber of Commerce is going to have a luncheon in May. I think it's May. And we are potentially going to have that here in this building. And one of our local restaurants will provide the lunch. And of course, somebody's got to pay for that, but that's okay. The second event is there's a Hunt County Economic Development Alliance that I went to one of their meetings, and this is the economic development group from like Quinlan, West Waukene, Greenville Commerce, Cattle Mills, Royce City, all of the cities have representation. We don't have anybody on that board, but I've been to the meeting, and they're going to have a meeting in this building where we're going to have the opportunity for the school and the city to kind of talk about what's going on in Lonoc, which there are things happening here. The mayor can tell you that every time he makes up a flyer to advertise the properties that are available, it has to change because one of those properties has been rented, which is a good thing.
It is.
The other thing I was we went to Austin. Economic development was one of the things that we talked about. You were with utilities. I went with environmental issues, agriculture, and water. This year, water has always been part of utilities or infrastructure. And because water is going to become one of the critical factors for the continued growth in the state of Texas, not just Lonoc and Hunt County, but the state of Texas, that got broken out into a separate discussion point. And anybody can go to this. We rode the bus, I don't know, left on early Tuesday morning, came back Wednesday night. But it's an opportunity to go to represent our county and our community and show the legislators that they better be paying attention because we're here to watch. When they recognized Hunt County in the chamber, Senate chamber, and the House of Representatives, there was probably over 60 people that stood up. And if you've ever been to the Senate chambers, that's the whole one side of the chamber, almost. So that's good for us. If you get involved, that's a good thing. Now, one more thing I want to cover. I'm looking at the profit and loss sheet to kind of see where we are. We got about 4 months left in the fiscal year. And property tax, we budgeted $230,000. We've collected $210,000. That's about normal because most people have paid their property tax and it'll still trickle in over the next couple months. So we're probably going to be a little over budget for that. That's a good thing. Sales and use tax. We budgeted $220,000. We have to date collected $184,536. We're probably going to be over budget for that. Again, not a bad thing. And then if I go down here to the traffic fines, I've got to find it. Hang on. We budgeted $150,000 and we've collected $114,000 already. And we've been averaging something around $15,000 a month being deposited into the general fund. So there's another one of our major income sources that we're probably going to be a little bit over budget on. So those are all good things for us because it means we have money to do things. So, any questions?
Thank you, Wes.
Any questions?
Next up, item C, special events, Mina Dunlap.
Okay, I've got 4 vendors for sure booked for 4th of July. I'm working on donations for the fireworks show. I have spoke to Ryan. Yes. With Vices, he did say that his dad did make sure to let him know to keep the deal with us going. So we will have that avenue for fireworks still. And he did call me and let me know that he has made several, not special purchases for us, but he's made a couple of orders and ordered us special stuff that he knew would be good for us. Like, as he's making his orders, he sees stuff that, so he's added it to there for us. I still have no food trucks coming. I have reached out to the lemonade and the coffee again, but that's it.
Thank you, Mina. Item D is the court department. The report was included.
She might call it Twilight Coffee. They have a new truck.
Okay.
Trailer.
Did you hear that, Mina?
What was that?
Twilight Coffee?
I know, I'm working on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
They have a new trailer thing, so they may already have a store here, but we're still working on that.
Next up is the Police Department report. Chief Paul Roberts.
Okay, so for February activity, we had 51 calls for service. We had 320 building checks, 119 warning citations, 171 citations, 1 offense report, no incident reports, no crash reports, and we had 21 vehicle impounds due to no insurance or no driver's license. Or both.
And that was for February.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Planning and Zoning Department.
We didn't have a meeting this month, we didn't have enough on the agenda.
Gotcha. No meeting? Okay. Road improvements are ongoing, and this, I'm sure this is a hot topic. If you've been coming to the town hall since June of last year, there's a drainage plan that our Public Works Director, Corey, has put together, and it's gonna work, right? It's gonna work well to run the water the directions that it needs to go, but it's ongoing. We can only do it in segments, and we're working on that. Some of the road spots on College and on McBride still have water that is getting in there and running across. We know this, and we're trying to patch it. We've got rain coming tomorrow, so, we get it. We're trying to do the best we can until we can get that drainage. And then we are also working with the county to try to grate what we have up on College and McBride and relay it. And then if we get the ditches to where the drainage stays off the road, the work we do will last longer. We also have a pending engagement with the county for Mill Street. That is next up on the City of Lone Oak, Hunt County collaboration for road improvements. So that brings us forward to items for individual consideration.
Mayor, I'd like to.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to make a motion here.
Oh, yes.
That we move items 9 and 10 above item 8.
Yes. That's a great idea.
Second.
Doug with a motion, Wes with a second to move items 9 and 10 up ahead of item 8. All in favor? That passes. Okay, we are going to start with item 9. Discuss and possibly approve accepting Councilmember Christine Barrow's resignation from the City Council. We received her resignation recently, and we are grateful to Ms. Christine for the service that she provided the city for years. Can't thank her enough. We're so glad that she's back home. And so, any other council member want to chime
I
in?
make a motion to approve accepting her letter of resignation.
Motion by Chip, seconded by Doug. All in favor? All right, that passes. Item 10, consider and possibly approve appointing Greg Gulak for the remainder of Christine Barrow's term to end in May of this year.
Make a motion to approve appointing Greg Gillard for the remainder of Christine Barrow's term to end in May 2025.
Second.
Motion by Doug, seconded by Chip. All in favor? That is passed.
You gotta swear him in?
Do we swear him in right here? I don't know if we're prepared for that. Welcome aboard, Greg.
Ain't he supposed to come sit up here?
Yes.
Item 8. Discuss and possibly approve the city handbook unlawful harassment section language change. Council members, at the top of your page, you see the language approved in the December meeting, where the terms gender identity or expression are highlighted, and today's proposed language changes, removing that language and replacing it for anyone for any reason in the spots that are highlighted.
This is about harassment, correct?
It is.
Okay, just making sure. I'll make a motion, we accept the changes as drafted in the proposed language change for
Second.
section 4.03.01 unlawful harassment defined.
Motion by Wes, seconded by Denise. All in favor? That passes. Thank you. Number 11, consider and possibly approve accepting Carrie Giroux's resignation from role as finance manager.
Make a motion, we accept Carrie's resignation.
I'll second.
Motion by Wes, seconded by Doug. All in favor? All four. Number 12, discuss and possibly approve resolution number 303, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Texas Water Development Board for financial assistance in the form of principal forgiveness agreement in the amount of $400,000 through Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
I make a motion we approve resolution number 303, 2025.
Should I read it?
You can read you don't have to read the whole thing,
Be it
but you got
resolved.
if it's already.
Yeah. All right. Be it resolved, Section 1 approval, this agreement setting out the terms and conditions of the financial assistance between the Texas Water Development Board and the city is approved by the city's designated representative, is authorized to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. The effective date of this resolution shall become effective immediately after its adoption, passed and approved this 11th day of March, 2025. Motion by Doug. Second. Seconded by Wes. All in favor? Okay, that passed. Number 13, discuss and possibly approve ordinance number 211-2025, authorizing the issuance of City of Lone Oak, Texas combination tax and surplus revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2025, authorizing the sale thereof and enacting provisions incident and related to the issuance of said certificates.
Is this a public works or general fund, or how do we pay this back?
Mayor, I'm here with any questions.
Oh, come on up. Thanks for staying.
Hey, my pleasure.
There you go.
Council members, Mayor.
Page 11.
Gregory Miller, I'm with Bickerstaff, Heath, Delgado, Acosta, and Austin. We're the city's bond counsel for this transaction, meaning
Okay.
that, yeah, so I'll try to keep it short.
How are we paying for this?
These are
General
gonna
fund or public works?
Actually, it's both, in a sense. These are combination tax and surplus revenue funds.
Okay.
So you can levy taxes each year. To the extent you have surplus revenues you want to apply towards it,
Okay.
Your taxes will be reduced.
Okay. I make a motion, we adopt ordinance number 211-2025.
A second.
Motion by Wes, seconded by Doug. All in favor? Everybody? Okay.
Well, thank y'all. We're really glad to be working with you. If you have any questions, give us a call.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. That was 211. Yep, that was 211-2025. Okay. Number 14, discuss and possibly approve a capacity fee to help subsidize the cost of sewer treatment plant project. And that was- Back here, so. Oh, yes, okay, I'm sorry, for you council members, this may not get to a vote, but we need to discuss the possibility of a capacity fee for developers that come into the city when it comes to the infrastructure and the capacity needed at the sewer treatment plant. Early calculations done by Corey and I indicate that a sum of $9,500 per lot is probably in the range. We have to do some deeper diving, but I wanted to bring it to the council tonight early so that we begin to wrap our heads around it. The time is coming where these development types of items need to be in place sooner rather than later, before rather than chasing. So in the coming weeks and leading up to the next council meeting, you'll probably get more detailed information from Corey and myself to outline what it is the council would like to set in the books that would help offset the infrastructure growth that would be coming with these developments that are looming. Are there any questions? I know it's pretty preliminary and high level, but are there any questions that I can try to answer?
Who do you have? Is it just you and Corey that's doing this?
Corey and I are comparing similar fees from like Texas cities, and also the cost of developing the infrastructure inside city limits versus outside city limits to make sure that we are comparable and, quite frankly, competitive, so that it's not a deterrent. We can't really be a deterrent, but we're going to need this assistance in order to continue developing in these with these home lots.
I was just wondering if it's enough for the two of you to handle that, or if you needed more people on that to help you.
I'll confer with Corey as soon as tomorrow, and we can figure out. I do have another resource that we could pull in at least on a phone call.
Maybe even an engineer.
There you go, maybe. Okay. But I'm trying to jump on this because, timelines. Yes, sir.
So we talked about doing impact fees a while back, and there were some processes that had to be followed to do something like that. Is this the same kind of thing with this? Do we need to get an attorney involved? Is this just an engineering thing? They do an assessment, or how?
Before it was, if you call it an impact fee, then yes, you have to do a whole assessment, and our attorney advised us before that it was a development fee, because it didn't necessarily define what the impact fee is.
Okay.
So.
Then we had
It's
to
all
get
about
off.
language, I think.
Yeah, we had to change off development fee and say capacity fee, because then it further pigeonholed a certain level of development. So it's all in the
I feel
verbiage.
like it should be done right and do the impact fee and get it laid in a structure that's gonna be here.
Yeah. If we can.
If we can, if it's doable.
So we're studying this. We're trying to get ahead of it quickly because development is coming quickly. So more to come.
Well, then I'll make a motion that we postpone this to the next regular city council meeting.
Second.
All right. Motion by Doug, seconded by Chip. All in favor? Thank you. That is moved to the next meeting. Next item, number 15, consider and possibly approve a $25 fee increase per inspection starting April 1st to match the city inspector's fee increase.
What are we paying now? Anybody know?
100.
We're paying him 100? What are we collecting? We're not collecting that much, are we?
He gets $50 of it, and then the city gets $50.
Okay. So he wants 75.
Because of gas
Okay.
being so high.
You should buy it in Roanoke, it's cheaper. Where's that guy at? Come up here. Where does
He said he would, if he needed to, he would keep his prices at what they were.
Well, where's he live?
He lives in Greenville,
Okay,
but anytime I call, he's here.
So once again, this is Sean.
Sean Ford.
Sean Ford.
3F Development Consulting
Yep.
and Inspections.
okay.
I have 2 decades of experience in municipal government and a lot of experience with impact fees and things like that. So if you need assistance with that too, I can help you. Feel free to give me a call.
Mayor, I don't think we can discuss this with him at this moment.
Yeah.
Under the Open Meetings Act,
That's fair.
so I'd ask that we put it on the
Yes.
next agenda, please. You would.
Doug has a motion to push this to the next agenda, seconded by Denise. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you. Lastly, number 16.
Can we ask, the current inspector to hold his
Yes.
fee steady until the next council meeting? I make a motion, we ask the current inspector to hold his fee.
Motion by Wes,
A second.
seconded by Doug to uphold. All in favor? All for? Item 16, consider and possibly approve a 5%, 60-cent rate increase per home starting April 1st to match Live Oak Environmental's rate increase.
Didn't they just do this?
Last year in
Last
February.
year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, it got tabled till March and then it got approved.
Has it already been a year?
Yes.
February. February 24th was the year.
Okay. When's the contract over?
2026.
One more, okay.
Yep.
Well, in their letter, it says that they base it off the consumer pricing index, and it was actually up 5.2%, and they're gonna leave it at 5%, so I make a motion we approve the rate increase.
Motion by Wes to approve,
I second.
seconded by Doug. All in favor?
I'd love to say they can't use the damn tandem out for trucks anymore, but I guess we can do that.
Hold on.
Motion fails.
That motion failed. So,
Make a motion, the city absorbs 5% increase.
motion by Chip to absorb.
One moment, please. Can we do that?
You've done it before.
So it looks like we spent 56.8, but we collected 86 something, so that was. I guess the question is, if we don't approve it, do they still raise it anyway?
Yes, it is.
The concern I have is that if we make a little bit of money on the garbage sales, which we're gonna need to do the sewer plant, so if we absorb it now, are we gonna have to raise the rates over the summer? I think we got room to absorb it, but we'd have to raise the rates sooner or later. Anyway. Who's got a motion?
Chip has a motion to absorb,
Okay, I'll second.
seconded by Wes. All in favor? All four.
Probably gonna have to raise the rates anyway later on, so.
That moves us to items for discussion. Hunt County parcel fee increase, number 17.
Randy Weiser.
Yep. In a letter, February 24th, we have not increased the billing fee. This is from the Hunt County Tax Office. We have not increased the billing fee since 2016 on a number of parcels we process and collect for the entities. We have under contract 23 entities plus 5 MUD districts, a total of 76,652 parcels with a current charge of $1.13. With rising costs over the past 9 years, postage has increased by 31%, printing charges are up by 39%. Also, current software vendors increased 36%, which does not include any technical service. There will be a 54% increase to bring the per parcel fee from $113 to $175, and will be in effect starting in the 2025 tax statements. Should you have any questions, call me. So, again, item for discussion.
So we pay that per lot, right? Basically is the way that works out.
Per parcel.
Per parcel, okay. It's not passed on to the citizens. That's what, they hold that out of our property tax rate, right? We should assume that.
I would. Okay. I probably wouldn't assume, but
Okay.
it sounds like.
Still cheaper trying to do it ourselves.
Next item for discussion. Number 18, the Civic Center fiber optic service cancellation. There's a significant cost savings for dropping this service at the Civic Center. And it makes sense because what we would be losing or canceling is not something that's used here at the Civic Center. So it's a cost saving. And it would not, wouldn't affect any service or what we provide here.
So are we not using CIP here anymore?
Yes, we are.
That's what.
We haven't canceled it because I wanted to see what the bill was like from Trinity first.
Oh, okay. So it's just unplugged, we can plug it back in.
It's not even unplugged.
Yeah, it is.
Or is it?
Yeah. The plug that goes to the fiber optic thing is where the CIP thing plugs in.
So that's a change that will be
Okay.
made to save money for the city.
Okay.
Number 19, City Hall roof remediation was really just a look. We had somebody check it out a couple of days ago, and there's a Band-Aid approach that is probably not great, but for the long term, we got a good idea of what it looks like, what the lack of slope is, what some of the problem areas are. So just to get an idea, we just had somebody take a look. No action on this, just something to ponder. At this stage, we are moving to executive session. Pursuant to the following designated sections of the Texas Government Code, annotated subchapter 551, the City Council will enter into executive session to discuss the following items. Section 551.074, personnel matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or hear complaint or charge against an officer or employee regarding. And then the specific line items are 1, Corey Miller, 2, Susie Cooper, 3, Terry Giroux, and 4, the finance manager, utility clerk position.
I would like for my portion of the executive session to be made public.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Absolutely. So at this point, at 7:58, I will move us into executive session.
I'm gonna leave it for about 6 minutes.
Okay, we are back from executive session at 8:14.
Motion to accept what we talked about.
I make a motion to approve what we discussed in executive session.
Chip with a motion, Denise with a second to approve what we discussed in the executive session, 3 of those 4 items. There was one item pulled out, the item for Susie Cooper. It was discussed that,
Take a vote.
oh, all in favor, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Yes, all 4 for the Chip motion and Denise second. Susie requested that her line item be pulled out for public. In discussion, we figured out that that line item was put on in the executive session before the resolution. So once we got in there with the issue resolved and the language changed and your return to work, that there was no discussion. So.
I do have a question.
Yes,
since I'm on
absolutely.
this. On your email earlier,
Yes.
let me get this so that yes, I can get it.
Oh,
Just charge it.
oh, I got you. Is that mic still?
You need this one?
I think, is that mic still?
It's still on, it's got a light on.
Yeah, light.
Earlier, you did email me,
Yes.
saying that you've been legally advised to state that my termination was not for beliefs. Friday's action was for failure to follow city policy.
That's
That is not a correct statement. I never said that I did not have a reason for not signing your book, the employee handbook. What I said was, I believe God decided our gender before we ever drew a breath. This is the reason, and the only reason I did not sign the handbook.
Understood.
So I just want to make
And
that
that is-
clear.
Can I answer?
Yeah, this is.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I just want to make sure I. When I presented that to the attorney, I was advised to send back the one line that I put in the email. That's what the attorney advised me to write.
Okay, well, and that's what I'm disagreeing with, because I had a reason for not signing that book. And it wasn't for anything other than my belief. So, I just want to make that clear
And, you know,
to the council.
since we're here, I know earlier you had mentioned, you know, there's no reprisal or some type of, you know, coming back toward you for all this thing. I want to assure you that that would never happen. Like, there's no, you know, animosity, there's not any retribution, I forget the word, I don't know.
Retaliation.
Thank you, retaliation. There's nothing to retaliate against. There's not any animosity. I want to make sure you understand that. You know, I'm excited that you're back. So, thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Chip has a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Doug. All in favor? We are adjourned. Meeting